A game like this simply doesn't come around often. As a sled dog musher, our mission is to take a scientist to his final destination. But as you progress, you uncover disturbing secrets and face challenges that go beyond mere traversal of the frozen lands. In this video, I'll attempt to find some meaning in this game so I can sleep again. We start the game seemingly in the middle of nowhere, in a snow-covered setting. Ahead of us stands a man, and as we approach, he says, "We should keep moving." Then, we board the sled and are introduced to the basic mechanics of the game, a physics system where we only control how steady we are on the sled, the curve, and the brake. We don't actually accelerate. After all, our dogs are accelerating for us. "Forgive my impatience," the man says. "I have placed a lot of trust in you." Wish I didn't have to, but my hand is forced. Time will show if you're the right person for the job. It was a fortunate thing for both of us that I found you when I did. I can tell you are determined, willing to brave the cold when few others would. Your efforts will not go unnoticed. I think much will come of this. It's time for me to return, to finish the work I have started. First and foremost, I want to talk a bit about the game's setting. Throughout the gameplay, the game has the power to make us feel alone and insignificant in a scenario that seems so vast and dangerous for us, mere humans. The atmosphere conveys a sense that something might happen at any moment, but often it simply doesn't. And this feeling doesn't diminish due to the enigmatic messages from the scientist. It's as if we're truly heading into the unknown without any kind of plan or knowledge, which makes us entirely dependent on the scientist's presence, even though he's the creepy guy. After a few more moments of gameplay, our passenger suggests that we are getting close to a cabin. And if they're still here, we'll meet them soon. After covering some more distance on the ice, we can spot the cabin on the horizon, marking the first moment of relief in a game that until now hasn't given any clues to the player. Immediately after, we are taken aback by a jump cut. Now we are observing from a distance, following the mysterious figure of the scientist who carries a lantern, climbing a hill. The previously suggested relief has been completely snatched away from us now. During the hill climbing, the scientist persists with their enigmatic messages while a bright figure occupies our view. Another cut, and now we find ourselves hunting a deer. The scrambled narrative structure that the game uses adds more and more to the confusion, leaving us grasping for understanding. Every line of dialogue or scrap of paper encountered during this journey becomes a potential beacon of insight into the story. Remember how I mentioned that in this seemingly inhospitable scenario of pure snow, we became entirely dependent on the scientist's presence, no matter how peculiar it was? Well, now, for the first time, we find ourselves completely isolated in this atmosphere, without the scientist, without our sled, or even our dogs. Now it's just us and the unknown. As we progressed through more fragments of this mysterious tale, a particular moment caught my attention. Lost in the middle of nowhere, we spotted another deer. Following the animal, the scientist finally offered some explanation. Brief, yet valuable, given all that had been presented to us until now. He explained that during a previous expedition, he and his group managed to capture one of these deer. Their objective was to understand how these creatures not only survive in such a hostile environment, but thrive. One member of the expedition speculated that the creatures could hear through the ice, so they cut off their ears. Another proposed that, in fact, the creatures relied on their eyes to wield this magnificent ability, so they removed their eyes. Yet, despite it all, the creature managed to reunite with its herd once more. Now, from here on, it's where the scientist's words truly start to become concerning. He is somehow attempting to make us feel that embarking on that expedition would bring some meaning to our lives, demonstrating a subtle devotion to the expedition, or whatever secret lies behind it all. And suddenly we are surprised by yet another cut. This time something was truly amiss, but once again there aren't many explanations. Look, say what you will about graphics and all that, but I was playing this in the midnight with headphones on, and up until now, I was genuinely starting to feel comfortable with the game's atmosphere. However, that moment when I was truly facing a threat for the first time nearly made me shit my pants. Once again, more points to the game's atmosphere and immersion. The thing is, in the end of the day, good and realistic graphics are not even half of what's needed to create a memorable gaming experience. I believe that's what's lacking in the gaming industry these days. But anyway, our journey goes on. From here onward, I believe there are many ways to interpret the game's narrative, and I'll attempt to explain my perspective. If you haven't played the game yet, I recommend pausing the video here and giving yourself a chance to form your own opinion. In my view, during the final act of the story, we gain further insight into the expedition, and it becomes evident that the scientist has somehow gone mad. He has developed a religious obsession toward the mushrooms. These mushrooms are the cornerstone of this puzzle. In their initial expedition, he and his team used these mushrooms, which provided visions and some form of sixth sense. However, something went awry along the way, leading the scientist to leave the Arctic and encounter an outsider. That outsider is you. Throughout the game, the scientist deceives you, claiming they are searching for the rest of the team, when in reality, all other expedition members have already died in some manner. Perhaps recently or maybe not. There's no way to know it. But in the end, we managed to kill the scientist and escape the Arctic with his body. However, as shown in various segments of the narrative, we have also ingested the mushrooms countless times. This implies that we too will go mad, doesn't it? Or perhaps we're already mad. Remember how the scientist mentioned that when he arrived, he was also an outsider just like you? Maybe this implies that all of this is some kind of curse, and ultimately, time is a flat circle. This means that now you'll be tasked with bringing in another outsider and introducing them to the mushroom cult. And the cycle will repeat indefinitely. In the end, the scientist has won. Now, I would like to thank you for watching up to this point, and I kindly ask you to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like as well. And if you've already played this game or have any thoughts about it, please share them in the comments. And if you haven't tried it yet, give it a chance. It's available on Steam. As always, thank you. And until next time.